Cup of English podcast for Paul and Lily.
I want to tell you about the calmest person I have ever met in my life, my grandfather. This man, nothing bothered him, nothing. The house could be on fire and he would finish his cup of tea first.
Welcome, everyone, to a Cup of English podcast. I'm Lily.
And I'm Paul. And I told Lily this story about my grandfather, and she said, Paul, that is you. You are your grandfather. And I thought about it for a moment and said, thank you.
He took it as a compliment. Today we are talking about being calm, how to stay calm, how to talk about calmness in English, and why being the calmest person in the room is actually a superpower. Perfect for beginners. Lots of useful phrases. Let's go!
Right. So, what does it mean to be calm? Calm means peaceful, relaxed, not stressed or anxious, not reacting to every little problem, not panicking when things go wrong.
And be so calm it makes people nervous? This is actually a thing. Have you ever been in a stressful situation and one person is completely relaxed, and somehow their calmness makes everyone else more nervous?
Yes, because when everyone is panicking and one person isn't, it makes the panicking people feel slightly silly, and they panic more.
It is a strange power. Okay, first vocabulary. To stay calm. To remain relaxed even when things are difficult. She stayed completely calm during the whole situation. To keep your cool. Very casual expression, same meaning. He kept his cool even when everything went wrong. And unflappable, a wonderful English word. It means nothing disturbs you. Nothing makes you panic. You are always calm. She is completely unflappable.
Unflappable is one of my favorite words. It sounds exactly like what it means, like something that cannot be flapped, cannot be disturbed.
Like a very relaxed bird.
Exactly like a very relaxed bird. My grandfather was unflappable. I will tell you the story. He was driving one afternoon, many years ago, and another car came out of nowhere and hit the side of his car. Not badly, nobody was hurt, but a significant bump, a big noise, very sudden and very alarming.
What did he do?
He pulled over, got out of the car, looked at the damage, and said, to nobody in particular, "Well, that's a nuisance," and then offered the other driver a mint from his pocket.
A mint?
A mint from a small tin he kept in his jacket, very calmly, like they had simply bumped into each other at the shops.
The other driver just had a car accident and your grandfather offered him a mint.
The other driver was apparently shaking, and my grandfather said, "Here, have one of these, you'll feel better." And the man took the mint, and somehow he did feel better.
The mint solved everything?
The mint and the calmness together. My grandfather was so relaxed about the whole thing that the other driver calmed down too. By the end, they were having a perfectly pleasant conversation about the weather.
A car accident turned into a chat about the weather. That is unbelievable.
That was my grandfather, completely unflappable. I have tried to be like him my entire life.
And honestly, you are quite calm, Paul. It's one of your best qualities.
Thank you, Lily.
You're welcome. Okay, more vocabulary. Composed. Looking and feeling calm and in control, especially in difficult situations. She walked into the meeting looking completely composed. To take a deep breath. Literally to breathe in slowly and deeply. People do this to calm themselves. When I feel stressed, I take a deep breath. And to take things in your stride, to deal with difficulties calmly without being upset. She takes everything in her stride. Beautiful expression. Okay, I have a calmness story. And this is a story about how I learned the power of staying calm the hard way. A few years ago, I was on a flight from LA to New York, 5-hour flight. I had an important work presentation the next morning, so I was already a little bit stressed.
Not a good start.
Not a good start. And about 2 hours into the flight, the plane hit turbulence. Bad turbulence. The plane was shaking, things were falling, the lights flickered.
That sounds very alarming.
It was alarming, and I looked around the cabin, completely panicking, and every person around me had a different reaction. The man in front of me gripped his armrests so hard his knuckles went white. The woman across the aisle started saying a prayer quietly. And I was holding my own hand because I didn't know what else to do.
Holding your own hand.
I was comforting myself. And then I looked at the man sitting next to me. Older gentleman, maybe 60, gray hair, very elegant. And he was reading his newspaper. Just reading, completely still, turning pages calmly, like we were in a library.
Not even looking up?
Not even looking up. And I stared at him for a moment and I thought, either this man knows something we don't, or he is the bravest person alive. And I said, very quietly, "Excuse me, are you not scared?"
What did he say?
He looked up from his newspaper, looked at me very gently, and said, "My dear, I have been flying for 40 years. Turbulence has never crashed a plane. We are perfectly fine." And went back to his newspaper.
Back to the newspaper.
And something about his calmness, his complete certainty, went directly into my body. I felt my shoulders drop. I unclenched my hands. I took a deep breath. And the turbulence didn't stop, but I stopped being scared.
His calm became your calm.
Exactly. That is the power of a calm person in a room. They change everyone around them. And I have never forgotten that man. I don't know his name, but I think about him every time I'm on a turbulent flight.
That is a beautiful story, and a beautiful example of what calm actually does. It is contagious. Contagious, when something spreads from one person to another, usually used for illness. This cold is very contagious. But feelings are contagious too. Panic is contagious, and calm is contagious.
Calm is contagious. Write that down, everyone. Okay, vocabulary. Turbulence, when a plane shakes because of rough air. The flight had a lot of turbulence. To tense up, when your body becomes tight and stiff because of stress or fear. I always tense up before difficult conversations. And to let go, to stop holding on to stress, worry, or a problem. To release it. I'm learning to let go of things I can't control.
Right. How do you actually become calmer? Because it is easy to say stay calm. It is harder to do it, especially in difficult moments.
First, and we said this already, take a deep breath. It sounds too simple, but it is scientifically real. A slow, deep breath activates the part of your nervous system that calms your body down. It tells your brain, the danger is not real. We are okay.
I do this before any difficult conversation. Before I walk into a room where I know the topic will be stressful, I stop outside the door. One breath, in slowly, out slowly, and then I walk in.
Do you know what that looks like from the outside?
What do you mean?
I have seen you do this. You stand outside a door, you close your eyes, you take a very deep breath, and then you open the door like you are entering a completely different dimension.
A different dimension?
You open the door very slowly and purposefully, like a film character walking into the most important meeting of their life. It is actually quite impressive.
I had no idea I looked like that.
You look extremely composed, slightly mysterious, very calm. People in the room always look up when you walk in.
Perhaps I should enter more rooms this way.
All rooms, Paul. Every room. Okay, second tip for staying calm. Slow down. When people are stressed, they speed up. They talk faster, move faster, think faster. And this makes the stress worse. The counterintuitive thing, and counterintuitive means the opposite of what you expect, is to deliberately slow down.
Talk more slowly, move more slowly, and your brain interprets this as, we are in control. Everything is fine.
I tried this in a very stressful work meeting once. Everything was going wrong. Everyone was talking over each other. Voices were getting louder. And I deliberately slowed down. I waited for a pause, and then I said something very slowly and quietly. And the whole room slowed down with me.
Because when one person slows down, everyone adjusts to their pace.
It felt like pressing a pause button on the whole room. Very strange, very powerful.
This is exactly what "be so calm it makes people nervous" means. Your calmness is so noticeable, so steady, that other people question their own panic.
They look at you and think, why are they not worried? Should I be less worried? And sometimes the answer is yes, you should be less worried. Everything is actually fine.
Okay, last vocabulary batch. To ground yourself, to bring yourself back to the present moment when your mind is racing with worry. When I feel anxious, I try to ground myself. Peace of mind, the feeling of being calm and not worried about anything. Getting organized gives me real peace of mind. And to rise above, to stay calm and dignified in a difficult situation instead of reacting badly. Instead of arguing, I decided to rise above it. Very powerful expression. Right. The key message today: calm is a choice. Not always an easy choice, but always a choice. And when you choose calm, you change not just your own experience, but everyone around you.
Like the newspaper man on the plane. Like Paul's grandfather with the mint. One calm person in a room can change everything.
And your English, by the way, benefits from this too. When you stay calm in an English conversation, instead of panicking because you don't know a word, you think more clearly, you find the word, you speak better.
Panic makes your English worse. Calm makes your English better. So being calm is literally an English learning technique.
Everything connects.
Everything connects. Your challenge today. Tell us in the comments, who is the calmest person you know? And what makes them so calm? We would love to hear your stories.
And subscribe to A Cup of English podcast, free, new episodes every day. We are so grateful for every single listener. Cheerio, everyone.
Bye, guys.